Happy Sunday, everyone. It's lovely to be here and see all your smiling faces. I would like to say that, there's that old saying for performers, never follow children, animals, and I'd like to add Kendra Wise. Hard act to follow. Anthropologist Margaret Mead said, "The earliest signs of true civilization in an ancient culture is a healed femur. This indicates that someone carried that person, provided food, and cared for them rather than leaving them to die, thus marking the origin of compassion. At Live Oak, we call that pastoral care." So way back in the olden days, churches saw the duty of pastoral care as saving sinners. Keeping you from temptation would save you from hellfire and damnation. Thankfully, over time, this evolved into a softer shepherding and caring for congregant souls to what we see today, comfort and support. An important part of our early UU history was an intense personal support for members and other people facing social ostracism, persecution, and sometimes economic boycotting for their theological beliefs. I think in our world today, we can relate to this a lot. Beyond that, UUs have a history of pastoral care being very practical, compassionate, and non-dogmatic, anchored in social justice. An early example is Joseph Tuckerman. He was born in 1778. He was a roommate with William Ellery Channing at Harvard. Reverend Tuckerman became the first Unitarian minister at large. In Boston in the 1820s, he provided practical care and counseling to hundreds of people, primarily the poor and the disadvantaged. He is known for walking the streets of Boston and asking people what they needed and trying to help them to get it, whether it be food, clothing, wood for their stoves, or medical care. He believed that poor people steal because they're hungry, and that drinking too much was a sickness and not a sin. Today, UU pastoral care often involves trained lay pastoral care associates working alongside very busy ministers. It's a blend of emotional support and practical action by maintaining social contact with those in need, providing transportation, meals, shopping, or just a kind ear. Our pastoral care is grounded in UU principles that focus on justice, equity, compassion, and the inherent worth of every person. So whether you have a broken leg or a broken heart, we are here to help. And I'd like to thank Deb Rogers, who is maybe traveling today, I'm not sure, for her help in this part of our service.
Good morning, everyone, my friends here and on Zoom. I'm Wilma Seeley, Chair of Pastoral Care. Come with me on a trip down memory lane of pastoral care history at Live Oak, which is intertwined with her story at Live Oak. I came here in 1998. A year later, our minister, Betts Winnicky, asked me to serve on a committee called Health and Healing. I accepted. At my first meeting, I found Tom Bomey serving as chair. I observed him through many meetings. When he was ready to step down, I felt I had learned enough from him to take over as chair. Thank you, Tom, for your lessons. I served as chair for a time with Betts guiding the group. We learned from her how much we need each other when we are in deep despair, crying out loudly or silently for help. Our community's response benefited both those in need and those of us giving assistance. I stepped off the committee to serve on the Board of Trustees. Later, I rejoined when Drew Carter was serving as chair. Ken Salter took up the mantle for several years after that. Tina Grant provided training for the Pastoral Care Associates. Some of us current members experienced her leadership and are still benefiting from it. Reverend Erica asked if anyone on the group would take on another aspect of caring for the congregation. She wanted someone to focus on safety. I said that was something I was really interested in, so began Live Oak's safety program. Thomas Anastasi, our next minister, was a driving force behind Live Oak acquiring an automatic electric defibrillator, which is situated in the hallway near our administrator's office. His other profound influence was on the location of the Memorial Garden. Its first location was right here under our feet. This used to be a grassy slope where children could play and provided space for the first garden. The stones were then later carried over and placed over next to the water tower to make room for the building of this sanctuary. When Thomas Anastasi came, he lobbied to relocate it yet again because he felt strongly that the garden should be central to Live Oak, not on its fringes. The new position would demonstrate that we honor our UU ancestors. We were lucky to have Colleen Polson as Pastoral Care Chair. She poured a massive amount of energy and talent into designing and shepherding it to its final beautiful form where we have it today, just east of the Whitman patio. This fulfilled Thomas's idea of keeping our UU ancestors centered, remembering our ancestors as we move through the present time and on to our future. You have already heard the names of some of our congregation who served as chairs of pastoral care. There are many others of you who have given time to the committee, including Dee Scott and Barbara Dunaway, whom you can read about in our memorial book. There were 8 members on pastoral care during Reverend Tamara's time here. When she left, so did 6 members. Cecilia Ramirez and Priscilla Marcus stayed. 2 people certainly weren't enough. I decided to go back to pastoral care, knowing that I should step up to chair it. Deb Rogers was then asked to join, then Lorette Valentine. Later, Kristen Ingalls and Michael Whitman came on board. Priscilla stayed to help us through the transition, leaving after 15 years of amazing service. I think it was especially appropriate for her to sing our opening song today. Thank you, Priscilla. As we grew to our current 6 members, our ministers changed 3 times. Reverend Ann Hines helped us October 2022 through April 23. The board then hired Laura Mancuso from May to July of 2023. Since September 1, 2023, we have received the wonderful guidance and, of course, his style of humor from our minister, Reverend Jonathan Young. We are here because we care. Usually we are in the background, but today we are front and center to reintroduce our program to you. The following is a list of what we do. We have you covered if there's a flood, an earthquake, or a fire with our zone organization. Our other services include memorial receptions, sending cards to those experiencing a life challenge, offering rides to those who temporarily can't drive, helping hands to grocery shop, run errands, give pet care, child care, respite care, meals, adaptive equipment, temporary housing during an evacuation, and always a confidential listening ear. Let me leave you with this final important concept. We sincerely believe that everyone in our congregation is an integral part to pastoral care. It takes this entire congregation to help us deliver all the services we need and want to make this a compassionate community. Raise one hand if you have been helped by giving any of these services for any of us. Raise the other hand if you have received any of these services. Now put those hands together and applaud yourselves.
Good morning. You know, in 30 years, this is the second time I have been at this microphone. It's not something I look forward to, but Cecilia told me the reason that she's comfortable with it is because she knows you're all good people. Yeah. Okay, joys and sorrows. My name is Lorette Valentine. I'm today's Pastoral Care Associate, and in a few minutes, I'll collect the joys and sorrows cards. I wonder how many of us have written out a joys and sorrows card in the last several years. Okay, so if you're comfortable with it, please stand up. It's a stretch time anyhow. Okay, look around you. Great. Now, if you've written more than one in the last couple years, would you please turn around, face the back? Turn around if you've written more than one. Okay. Whoa. All right. So it looks like an awful lot of people have participated in the joys and sorrows cards. Okay. So after gathering the cards, the Pastoral Care Associate, I'm going to call them the PCA for the day, give them to the Worship Associate, who is Kendra today. She will read them to the congregation and check for messages on Zoom. This way the congregation learns more about the person or situation, and we get to know each other better. This helps us build a closer community. Sometime after the service is over, the PCA will email verbatim messages on the cards to Reverend Jonathan and the pastoral care team. This way we know exactly what was written on there. In addition, you may have noticed that there's a line on the cards that you can check. It says, I would like a pastoral care member to contact me by phone and or by email. And that information would be included when the messages are sent. If a contact is needed, Kristen usually makes the first contact. Possibly she might send a card if there's been an injury or an illness or some kind of loss. If the situation is serious or ongoing, the pastoral care support person for that member would contact, wow, you look down here and I'm right here. That's weird. Okay, anyhow, the pastoral care support member would make contact with that person and discuss how we might help. And by we, I mean both pastoral care and volunteers from the congregation. We could not do it without you.
Good morning again. I'm Cecilia still. I was asked to join the pastoral care team in 2021 during COVID times. I have found my time as a member of this team to be very fulfilling, and I've made deeper connections with many in this congregation, and especially with those on our team, which is a fun group. My responsibilities include touching up the lettering on the stones in our memorial garden, setting up meal trains when necessary, and sending out glass hearts, which we call caring hearts, to congregants as a way of acknowledging a major hardship. The memorial garden, along with the wonderful memorial book in the back there, lovingly kept up by Wilma, are two ways of providing places to reflect on the lives of our members and friends. The garden is a simple but elegant site covered in a base of gravel to make it drought tolerant and beautifully kept up by our grounds crew. It features a small bird bath and a beautiful plaque embedded by Michael on a tree stump, which was donated by Gloria Liggett. Gloria is still given to us. The design and placement of the stones evoke a Zen garden. A family or a member can request a memorial stone be placed in the garden, and we have a protocol to request the stone usually chosen by the family. A few years ago, we were discussing how several of the stones' lettering had become faded and worn, so many stones were illegible. I took on the task of repainting those that needed refreshing. I found it to be a spiritual and meditative experience as I did each stone. For me, having a place to focus on a loved one who has passed always helps to rekindle our memories of them. A second responsibility of mine is when a meal train needs to be set up. The meal train, as many of you know, having already participated in one or more, is a congregation's way of supporting a family or member by providing meals that are delivered at the request of a member on a temporary basis when the family is going through an illness or bereavement. The request is made through our administrator or through Wilma, and we determine what dates need to be scheduled. We set up the meal train in the website, which is something akin to a GoFundMe page, also listing any food preferences or restrictions, time of delivery, etc. A link to that site that allows folks to sign up is generated, and Melanie provides it to the congregation in an email blast. In the past year or so, we have set up 3 meal trains, and the recipients have always been so grateful. You don't have to actually cook a meal yourself. You can order something up from a preferred restaurant or get a DoorDash or an Uber Eats card and send that. I also have the honor of sending out glass hearts. This is what they look like, different beautiful colors. We call these caring hearts to folks who have recently suffered a very serious life event. Many years ago, Christine Kelly, a member of the Live Oak and a glass artist, donated a few dozen beautiful glass hearts to Live Oak. These are a physical reminder of how the entire Live Oak community cares for one another, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Many of us, including me, have reserved one. I keep mine in my purse, and when I touch it, when I come upon it in my purse, it always reminds me of how all you care. Sometimes a congregant has more than one serious event, and we try to acknowledge that also in a physical way by sending a Japanese folded crane. These small tokens reminding a congregant they are thought of in difficult times are always appreciated. I am really pleased with how this congregation takes care of one another and makes each of us feel welcome, valued, and cared for. Thank you.
I'm Michael Whitman. I'm new to the pastoral care ministry, but I've been part of Live Oak for more than 30 years, and over that time, I've learned that caring for one another is something we all do. On our pastoral care page on the Live Oak website, the very first thing you see is our mission: to provide compassionate listening and support for people in the congregation who are experiencing crisis, grief, illness, or other of life's challenges. That mission comes alive every day in this community. Cecilia spoke about meal trains, how a simple meal can hold a family during illness or loss. She also shared the quiet beauty of our memorial garden, a place to reflect on the lives of our members and friends, lovingly tended and spiritually meaningful. Wilma reminded us that pastoral care has deep roots here. Our team offers memorial receptions, rides, errands, meals, and confidential listening ear, but she also named the truth at the heart of this ministry. Everyone in this congregation is part of pastoral care. One of the most important tools we have is our zones, a network that helps us check on one another quickly in emergencies and stay connected during life's unexpected moments. Zones make sure no one is left alone when something happens. They turn a congregation into a neighborhood. And when someone dies, our pastoral care team accompanies families through memorial services, receptions, and ongoing support. Cecilia's story of repainting the stones in the memorial garden, a spiritual and meditative experience, is exactly the kind of tender care that holds this community together. Everything we offer, meal trains, zones, memorial support, caring hearts, rides, and practical help, is on the pastoral care page of our website. As Wilma had mentioned earlier, if you have ever brought a meal, offered a ride, checked on someone, sent a card, or simply listened, you are already part of pastoral care. And if you ever received any of these gifts, you are part of it too. I remember when I had cancer, I needed months of chemotherapy and radiation, and I was out of work for half a year. I truly believe I would not be here today without the care, the cards, the meals, and the healing energy I received from the Live Oak community. So at Live Oak, pastoral care is not just a ministry, it's a culture. It is a way of being. It is all of us together. Thank you.